We've all been there, right? You see it, and then you have to have it. But then you ask yourself, was this a good idea? Was it too cheap? Should I have spent more money on something that I don't know if it's going to work or not? Well, we're about to find out. So sit down and buckle up or strap in, because we're going for it. It's the cheapest tires you can buy test. Amazon, Jenny's, whatever it is. We have to include those OE Ecto General Grabbers. They have not been great so far, but let's see if they get any better. And of course, no cheap tire test would be complete without the Traxxas Canyon Trails. Pretty much the cheapest crawling tires you can buy at $22 from Jenny's. OEM takeoffs, brand new. And then we get into the good stuff. The $23 a set INJORA Super Swamper Rocks tire. I mean, if anything else, they are cheap. Are they any good? We're going to find out. Next up, we've all seen them. They're all over Amazon. The faux rock beast. They look like rock beasts. They smell like rock beasts. But do they crawl like rock beasts? I'm going to say right here, probably not. But we'll see. You can't have a test with faux rock beasts unless you get some faux KLRs in there as well. We're doubling it up. We've got both the 2.2 variant on some plastic RPM revolvers, which brings them down to some of the cheapest ones out there after the Canyon Trails. And then we've got the little Class 1 1.9 fake KLRs, which if you factor in that asterisk that they're mounted on Capra stock wheels, these are the cheapest in the contest, $20. Then the control group, like proper rock crawling wheels as far as I would concern it. Dirt Trax SHOWDOWNS, some nice alloy bead locks, and some crazy crawler foams. So all the tires, the test tires get to start off with a little trio of tests. A little out and back section on a concrete and rock side hill, out through a gate, loop around gate 2, and then come back again through gate 1. We'll add the time to traverse that to the second, which is a primarily dirt bowl, the crawl the bowl portion, followed by a section called Giant's Shoulder, which is mostly dirt with some rounded river rock in it. So all of these stages have a transition of some sort. So we'll see how everybody compares. The SHOWDOWNS out first to set a sort of a baseline time to see how the rest stack up. First up after the control group, the OE General Grabbers, which, as I remarked at the beginning, are just not great. As far as even an OEM tire goes, they are hard, and the foams are hard, and the Ecto is light. So these tires, they don't like this truck. And I think the feeling between the truck and the tires is mutual. They have no initial bite. They don't give confidence on uneven surfaces. And 46 seconds to cross those two out and back gates is slow. They are slow to bite on dirt. And any trailing is going to have dirt involved. Right here, they would just spin. I managed to pull it over by the sidewall hooking end to the little concrete edge there. And if memory serves, one of the slowest times to get over this. They did not want to transition from dirt to rock and back. They do all right once they get onto a consistent surface, but they were not great. Following up that snail's pace of an effort, the by far cheapest tires in the test group here, the Traxxas Canyon Trail, presumably because there's just so many of them, so you can buy them most anywhere, and the part out houses are all but giving them away. $22 a set is really cheap, and these are completely unmodified, fresh takeoffs from a TRX Ford Defender. I don't think they have more than 1 or 2 drives on them, maybe 5 minutes of wheel time before they got mounted to the Ecto. And as far as an OE tire goes, if we were just looking at this in terms of OE tire, the Canyon Trail, in terms of feel, might not be shown as much in video, but in terms of feel, is just a better tire than the Grabber. I mean, the Grabber might take an extra point in that it's on an actual beadlock, so you can take them off without baking them off. But in terms of OE tire, Trail over Grabber all the way. And now we're getting into it. The horribly named INJORA Super Swamper Rocks tire, a Proline knockoff, if memory serves. And these tires have seen some time, so maybe an advantage. Foams are broken in a little, but maybe not as much of an advantage as the top of the tread is just knocked off. These tires are soft. Anybody who's run these can tell you they're here for a good time, not for a long time. And I mean, they navigated it a little quicker than the 2 prior. They do a little better in some dirt sections with that staggered lug, and there's a fair amount of space between lugs, so they do relatively well. Transition times, it's nearly the same as the other 2. I mean, it's a little quicker, but their feel is going away a little, even being on the heaviest of the wheels from the first 3 alloy beadlocks here. And now the fake rock beasts. I mean, they look like rock beasts, and the stampings are all the same. And I have a set of real rock beasts, which one pair of those cost more than the 4 of these together, but they are not the same tire. They are reasonably close to the compound, but these are not grabby tires. The included foams are soft, but too soft. Like, when you take them out of the tire to vent them, you're probably going to tear one of them. The foam is soft but hard at the same time, and the rubber is not compliant. It had such a time getting up this little dirt face, a harder time than any other set of tires. And the fake rock beast, it's not really good at anything. It is definitely fake, and even this early on, this is the set of tires I would not recommend. I throw that faux moniker around a lot because, well, these, of all the tires that I refer to as faux or fake, these are definitely faux, the KLR 2.2s, because nowhere in the OT6 lineup do you find a KLR that's spec'd like this tire. It's a 2.2, but it's almost the exact same size around as the INJORA rock tires, which are 1.9s. These are short. I think they're stamped 4.9 on the sidewall, and they're actually about 4.7. So if you ever wanted to run 2.2s and get that knuckle clearance, but you don't want a big 6.5 inch tall tire, I guess the faux KLRs are the way to go, because their performance was better than middle of the pack. They were a competent tire, and you don't get a ton of body rub because for a 2.2 they're just not very big. Rounding out the group, the faux KLR 1.9, which I've heard reports might actually be KLR MTs in the class 1, the 4.1 inch size. Something about defaulting on a contract. All I know is that they were good. I mean, especially taking into consideration how short they are and the fact that they're on one of the lightest set of wheels, the stock axial plastic bead locks off of a Capra. This thing just went. I mean, everything that these tires did in this test was unexpected. So let's see where we stack up after the first 3 tasks. Unsurprisingly, Grabber's coming in at a glacial 88 seconds, and those rock-hard rock beasts right behind. Canyon Trails and the Super Swampers right next to each other. KLRs bracketing the control group showdowns. So now we get into it, like a real test. Put some markers down on a particularly slippy section, on what I call tie the knot. It's making an approach from the south side, across the platform at the top, down through gate 2, and then looping it back around up through gate 3. Again, as usual, not being super strict on gate hits or anything. I'm not checking points. This is more of, can the set of tires complete the task that I've laid out for it? Even the nice squishy showdowns on a set of foams that cost more than some of the tires in this test struggles with this last little lip, as most everything does. Kind of has to halfway cheat its way up, get a tire hooked on the core, and pull over. And we're just going to run them same order as the initial set of tests. The Grabbers will make their run at it, and to spare you the punishment of watching a set of tires flail against rock until it hits the 2-minute time cut, I think I'm just going to speed this one up a little from here. I mean, embarrassing, but kind of expected. So next up, Canyon Trails, which I've used on other trucks in this situation, and to be fair, they do as well as I would expect they would. The foams are a little hard for this. This truck weighs 5.5 pounds. And these are takeoffs from a truck that's stock weighs like 7.5 pounds. And they haven't been cutter siped. I think the $22 canyon trails could be made into some real goers with a bit of work. And hey, definitely money to throw some foams in there when you get a full set of tires for $22. But you will have to jump through some hoops to get those tires off of those Traxxas wheels, because they are glued on, and Traxxas has some glue wizards down there. I've removed a couple sets of these, and it is not a fun time. Worth it, but not a fun time. Assuming the usual driver error, I give the Canyon Trails another little go here. They would have lost quite a bit of points if this was being scored on that rollover, but it felt like they were going to make it. Just struggled a bit, and unfortunately ended up hitting that time cut. So now the Super Swamper Rocks tire gets to take its try at it. And advantage to a tire that is extra soft and wears out pretty quickly is if it finds the right line and the right bite, it can make short work of obstacles that give other tires a real problem. And the Injoras did, I think, well here. They were fairly well suited to this. They behave almost predictably. I'm not gonna oversing their praises. At $23, if you've got a spare set of rims laying around, these are not a bad set of tires to have. I mean, if anything, if it's a rainy day, you can take them out and beat up on them, because it's not going to matter. They are so cheap, and the foams, they're not awful. They're middle of the road. They're nothing near the trash that comes inside a fake Rock Beast, should you be unfortunate enough to buy one of those. And as they say, if you speak of the devil, he shall appear. Here are those faux Rock Beasts, which are incapable of even transitioning over a 1-inch high lip from dirt to concrete, and then will just spin. Like, just watch him spin. I feel like it would be punishment to make someone sit through the whole of this debacle, so I think once again we're gonna kick this up into high gear. I think we all knew what was going to happen. We just at least expected it to get through the first gate. Right now it just clawed like a cat trying to get through a sliding glass door. So let's clear our minds. The FAUX KLR MT 2.2. I say faux, but is it? I mean, it might not be. It could be something else. It could be some random thing in a KLR compound. Because you see, we get the same little sort of tire skid that others have a hard time getting here, but once it bites, away it goes. As far as the very small 2.2 tire segment goes, it's a pretty good one. And, I mean, cheap. $30 a set. When we're talking about tires that are easily $40 to $50 a pair, you could do worse. These aren't bad. They probably need to break in, but they put up a respectable time, I would say, for sure. Once again, closing out the group test, the KLR MT in the Class 1 size. They're small but mighty, and just surprising from the outset. I expected nothing. This is a straight axle truck which drags its diff a lot. This is my fault right here. It's if I'd slowed down a little, I wouldn't have faulted that one. But they just bite, and I don't get it. They're not broken in. They have 5 minutes of runtime on them, and I thought there's no chance they're going to get over that final lip onto the wood platform. And perhaps as if to show me up, they did. And not only did they, but they did the intermediate section so quickly. They were the fastest ones. These guys. These little fellas. It's not a Class 1 truck, but it's running Class 1 tires. I mean, look how little they are. They're so little they look, I don't know, normal? So it's these little guys. These little guys right here. They're $20. Those rims were free. I bought the Capra intending to put 2.2s on it. So those rims sat in a box. And then I bought these tires for $20. Slapped them on these plastic wheels with no changes, just included foams, everything, with no expectations. I mean, how high are your expectations when you buy tires that are $5 a piece? I was consistently surprised that the truck lowering itself at least a half an inch on straight axles was just going to hang on everything. And yeah, I mean, it does. You have to adjust your thinking. I mean, I guess Class 1 guys wouldn't, but I do. Most everything I have has got portals on it, so you learn to kind of cheat with that extra little bit of ground clearance down the middle. But these little guys on this little guy, I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. Well, it doesn't make any sense to me. I'm not disappointed. These are the cheapest tires I have by a margin. And they killed the Canyon Trails. They killed everything. They were faster than the Control Group tire, which is, there's well over $100 into that set of tires, and they've been competent performers on everything they've been put on. They did well here as well, but it can't be denied. I would want to deny it. I would want to think that the other, they were cheap, but still you add them all together, and they got a whooping from a $20 set of probably fake KLR MTs. So there you have it. The best of the group was not what you would expect to be the best of the group. Oh, and a shout out to my sidekick for this event, a little Bosch driver that I used to take off and put on wheels so many times I couldn't even count. So I hope you enjoyed, and I'll hope to see you in the next one.